So I don't know how to necessarily go about this without informing some of my life and my upbringing. But what I wanted to talk about today is expanding upon a Substack article that I did a few weeks back or a while back about the big lie, and it's essentially like the whole narrative of like boomer truth being told to kick their kids out at 18, and that they should just work, 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 and then they'll be able to provide for their own future. And it's a very pessimistic outlook on the future, and I want to get into why this is a pessimistic outlook on your children, and why I don't plan on adopting such a pessimistic outlook. I have a very optimistic look toward the future. I think that the future is very bright, although there are going to be some troublesome times ahead, of course. Uh, I do think that naturally, at some point, there will be a point, a flipping point of this sort of really pessimistic, and then all of a sudden we're going to have a really optimistic future. I think it's very positive, looking forward at some point. Now how long that timeline takes, I don't know. But let's just talk about it from this perspective, this pessimistic perspective of your children. And I want to compare and contrast with how I feel about my children versus sort of how my parents and the upbringing that I had. And it's gonna sound like I'm dunking, but I don't want you to think that I'm dunking, because I'm just simply explaining it um, as as I perceived it, as I perceive all of it. And I don't have any further details. I don't have any further knowledge. They don't. My parents don't tell me specifics about everything that went on during my life. But it is what it is. I'm just gonna go off my point of view, and I want to portray that as best I can. Um, so looking at the outlook of the future, my parents were very pessimistic. They really thought that, like, like, hey, you need to kick him out as soon as we can. He doesn't need to be staying here. He needs to go to work. He needs to do that, do all this, do that. And just try to nose to the grindstone, and eventually you'll figure your own thing out. And that was basically what they were trying to force me to do, which is the most pessimistic and darkest outlook for your children. Whereas the contrast that I have for my children is, I think that they're great. I think they're going to be great, and that's why I'm saving. I have an actual fund dedicated to saving money for them, and I've accumulated. I put some in it every single week because I'm more optimistic on them than I am on my current situation. So I just put money in their account every week, and that's what I have a very positive outlook on where they'll be by the time that they reach maturity. So that's why I'm not like, I don't want this to be a dunk, but I think that my parents were very pessimistic about the possibilities of my future. And that's really unfortunate, because I think that I've even blown away what low expectations that they have. And had I had some more assistance, I guess, some more you know guidance, I think that I'd be in a very, very dominant position. That just wasn't in the cards for me. So let's get into this. Let's talk. I just want to talk about my childhood, why this is pessimistic, and then what should change, and what outlook should you have toward your children whenever you go to raise children, and the optimism that you should adopt. Because there is a sort of healthy dose of pessimism that you do need to have. You do need to plan for the worst, but also have or plan for the best and have contingencies for the worst. I guess that's what I was trying to say. So, just to talk a little bit about my childhood, I don't want to go deep. I don't want to do a deep dive of my upbringing, but just as a high level overview, I was born lower middle class essentially, and I, you know, relied on my grades to do really well. I'm a virtually straight A student all the way through, all the way through to high school. I think I had like maybe one or two B's, the entire time that I was attending school. Uh, and that includes elementary and secondary, or well, like high school education. And so basically, just breezed through school, didn't care about that, and then did the ACT and got into college, and then basically where I am at today. But during my childhood, I wasn't wanting for like I wasn't I may have wanted some things, but I wasn't I didn't, all my needs were met. Let's put it that way. I was had new clothes, I was fed well, and all the material stuff that I needed was there. uh, it just was different with the outlook that my parents had on the future, and particularly my future. I don't know if it was just some reasoning behind that, maybe just something that they were dealing with, or whatever. I can't speculate on that, but they had a very pessimistic look toward the future, thinking that nothing's gonna work out. You just need to go out there and work hard, and when you're 18, you need to just get out there, grind, and then eventually you'll figure something out. And that was their perspective, and that's really unfortunate, because I had a lot more potential. I had a lot more capability, and I still technically do. It's just really hard to do whenever you already are an adult and you have a family, that you can't really wrench yourself away from all of these responsibilities in order to do something different. So it requires a lot of capital to invest in. It requires a lot of time and effort to put in to go outside of the framework that you're currently stuck in. But let's talk about this sort of pessimism toward the future. The reason why that I'm saying that they're pessimistic, and the reason that I choose not to be pessimistic. I choose to be I choose optimism. Um, and it's essentially this dark outlook of, well, kid, just go work, and maybe one day you'll make something of yourself. And that's I doubt it, though. Life sucks. That was essentially the mantra that my parents told me. And so I didn't have much going for me in that way. I didn't have much going for me in the way of optimism, of you're going to be great. You're not going. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. So there wasn't really much optimism. There was a lot of pessimism about, like, you need to do something. You need to go be after it. Blah blah blah. And that just proved to be all useless crap. That didn't help me. So let's talk about optimism for kids. So, what my optimism for my kids is multifaceted. I do want to encourage them to literally go out there and crush it. I think that I tell them all the time that my oldest son mainly, because he can actually speak, and we can actually talk to him. So what I like to do is, I like to tell him, you're doing great. You're going to be great. And everything's going to be great. And that's what I'm trying to ingrain in him, because I have this optimism for the future. Because he's brilliant. I have every reason to be optimistic towards his future, and I want to nurture that future in every way possible, and that includes giving them money. Okay, let's talk about the money situation. So people think that people downplay money. I don't know why, and I think it's because of this material world, this material framework that the sort of the whole corporation, the corporate empires, and the media has been ingrained in them, that all of this is material. Like, if you believe in money, then you believe in material, which is not necessarily the case. I actually want money for a completely different reason. I want to have so much money that I can opt out of certain systems. That's the reason that I want money. I don't want money and I don't want my kids to have money to go buy a Lambo. It's not win Lambo. Like that's the worst mentality I have, is win Lambo and then get the Lambo, and then what do you do? What do you do now? You got a Lambo. So what? Right? So I have bigger aspirations, bigger goals, bigger objectives. You know, people wouldn't understand. So it's accumulation, and this is why I'm talking about accumulation of money and power. Um, and I plan on giving money to my children because I have optimism toward their future. If you are pessimistic about their future, that's why you would withhold money. And this is the boomer truth that they were sold. They were sold this boomer truth that if you give your kids money, they will never learn anything. They will never do anything. And that's a freaking lie. And this is, I'm going to get a little bit, animated here. I don't usually get that animated, but this is why it actually makes me mad to think about this, because it is not yes, your kids need to learn how to be able to do some things on their own, but guess what, they're going to have to need to do things on their own. They need freaking money. Okay, these kids need freaking money. They need money, and that's all. That's like, you're going to need money. The current world requires a large sum of money to be able to function and operate and thrive in this environment. The current iteration requires a large sum of money to be able to be successful, to thrive. And that's why I'm going to give my kids money. And that's why I have optimism toward their future. Okay? That's why I believe in them so much. And I believe that their future is so bright that I'm going to give them money. And it's not going to be the other way. It's not going to be like, it never happened for me that way. And that's what, that was the very pessimistic look. Not giving your kid a single red cent. Like, why? Because they're going to need money to do anything. Because I think about it, and like my contemplating mind, my mind gets in itself sometimes. But when I think about it, if my parents had done this same thing, if they had the same optimism toward the future that I have toward my children, then what they would have done is they would have had some money for me when I reach a certain milestone, when they know that I'm capable and that I'm not just going to waste it. You hold it until they're ready, and then you give it to them. There is no reason to withhold it. Unless you're pessimistic and you think that they're gonna, you think like, oh well, I need surgery tomorrow. I'm gonna die tomorrow. He don't need it. If I die, then he'll get it anyway. That's such a pessimistic outlook. It's so awful. But it's so awful. You should want the best for your kids. You should know that they're going to do well. You should believe that they're going to succeed, and you should have money for your children, because the generational wealth is how it's built. Generational wealth is how it's built. I'm not like I can become a millionaire. Okay, if I'm strategic enough, if I think through this enough, if I do well enough with my money, I will become a millionaire, and I plan on it. And I tell myself that every day. I will be a millionaire. Okay, I tell myself that every day, because everybody else is going to doubt. Everybody else is going to talk crap, but I don't care. I'm going to be a millionaire, and I am going to pass some of that money on to my kids before I die. And that's because I have such optimism about their future. I'm not pessimistic on their future. Like that's why, like, I don't talk down about their future. I don't think that they're not going to be anything. I don't think that their future is very limited in what it's going to be. I see unlimited potential, and that's why they need this money. They're going to need money to be able to. Okay, well, if I want to start a business, mom and dad, what do I do? Okay, here's you some money, son. You've proven yourself responsible, and what I'm going to do, we're going to make if I have to make a contract with you, if I have to do something that ensures that you actually do what I expect you to do with this money, then I will. But I want to be able to trust you, and I want you to be able to do this correctly. But that's the way. That's the optimism. That's me believing. Even if I have pitfalls and securities for if things go wrong, it's believing in them, having the optimism of the future, and not the pessimism of, well, just go work hard, son. Go work hard, son. You'll get somewhere. You'll make something someday, maybe. I don't know. Maybe probably not. You gonna be a fry cook at the Dairy Queen, but I don't know. Whatever it is, you gonna do your thing right there, huh? You gonna be working at the Dairy Queen and be the best fry cook, doggone it. I tell you what, maybe you'll be a manager. That's not optimism toward their future, okay? That's not optimism toward their future, and I don't want anyone to ever think that. I want people to start being optimistic about the future. Save money for your kids because they're going to need money. That is important. Sorry, this is probably the most infuriating topic to me because I do know what happened. I mean, I'm not stupid. as much as people would like for me to be stupid, I'm not stupid. I know what happens to some degree. I may not know every detail. I may not know everything, but I can see whenever you go buy new junk, you go buy new furniture, you go buy new cabinets or whatever junk, and you've never given a dime to your kid, and you never give them anything, and you don't care. You tell them that they're doing fine, and that they're you don't care about what's going on in their life. You don't care. That's very pessimistic, and I don't hope that no one chooses that route. Choose optimism. Choose optimism for your kids, especially. Choose optimism for your own future, because that's why I'm saving and investing. Saving and investing, saving your money is optimism toward the future, and having something for your kids is being very optimistic toward the future, because you're assuming that they're actually going to be able to use it in the future, and that they're going to be capable of understanding and utilizing it to its full extent. So choose optimism, especially when it comes to your kids, and choose that optimism for yourself too. You don't have to be optimistic in everything. I don't think that necessarily I'm going to be the most mega successful. No one's just going to like me just because I am me. Like that I've already relegated that away. Like no one's just going to like me because I'm me. No one's going to like it, it's not going to be something that just comes naturally. It's going to be something that is very a long timeline. But I do think that eventually I'll succeed, and I'll be able to tell the screw the haters, essentially. But that's all I have. Sort of a rant here. I hope that maybe you got something out of this. Maybe you like this sort of cerebral topics to some degree. I like to talk about this kind of stuff because this stuff interests me. Of getting it off my chest too. Say it with your chest. But I just say this kind of stuff, and I want people to understand what is actually going on. Why are you doing their bidding? I guess, and why don't you choose optimism and try to choose winning the future? But that's all I have. If you enjoyed it, like the video, please hit subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications if you want to stay up to date on this channel. Don't know why you would, but also there's links in the description for if you want to check out anything else. And this is all for this video. This is Trey from Trace Think Tank signing out.